Greetings and salutations. We are broadcasting live tonight from the Apocalypse Cabin. you know, uh, Hindsight is always 2020. It rained all day today, and so I did very little work at the cabin today. And just now, starting the show, I suddenly realized that I could have spent today working on our streaming setup and lighting here. I'm hopeful that this looks a little better than it has in previous attempts from the cabin. So I added a light and some other things today, but really, I could have done a lot more work on our streaming setup here. Um, you may hear that crackling. This is the wood stove right next to me here. And this is my favorite seat in the cabin right next to the wood stove. Yeah, it's about 40 outside, maybe 35 now, but it's probably 75 in here. Actually, this time of the year is strange. I always have to damp it down, otherwise it'll like make this place 90 pretty fast. So tonight, I thought we could continue talking about this New York Post story, Biden revelations, as well as the recent YouTube purge. Wow. In the last, I think it was yesterday, right? Let's see. Edge of Wonder, deleted from YouTube. Praying Medic, deleted from YouTube. Mouthy Buddha, deleted from YouTube. Jordan Sather, deleted from YouTube. Amazing. It was amazing to me to realize that these big channels were suddenly gone. Not that they hadn't been warned, right? Or been, I heard at least one of those people claim that they had no policy strikes or no strikes. And I know for a fact that that can't be correct. Can't be correct because they were constantly doing things that were against YouTube's terms of service. Now, I just wanted to mention in regard to this huge YouTube purge, I had a bunch of people, well, not a bunch of people, 3 or 4 though, send me texts or messages about it and sort of doing a victory dance. Like, yeah, fuck them. They lost their channels, because a lot of the people that lost those channels, are kind of bullshit salesmen and not well liked by a lot of my viewers. I didn't feel that way though. And here's why. I don't talk about Q here, but I certainly talk about conspiracy topics, and I certainly don't talk about Q. I don't talk about the current health crisis or what I believe is going on with the current health crisis. I don't go tell people masks are bullshit. I don't. Wow, I'm going to be very clear. YouTube algorithm gods, I am speaking in your defense. I am not speaking about the current health pandemic at all. So, yeah, there's some AI algorithm that just goes through videos, and if it hears keywords, you could get tagged and, a policy violation, delete it. I'm speaking in defense of at least their seemingly altruistic attempt to stop the spread of disinformation and misinformation and fake information and fake news. So we don't talk about the health pandemic, the current health crisis. We don't talk about Q here, but we certainly talk about UFOs. My previous radio show, The Midnight Hour, was almost exclusively UFOs. Like, once in a while, we'd have a show about something else, ghosts or magic. We did a show on magic and a few other things, but mostly my whole show was dedicated to UFO topics. So, that's certainly a fringe or conspiracy topic. And Spooky, I just saw Spooky in the live chat said that I should have people jump in. And okay, so Oh, and you know what? I forgot too. Just a bit of business to get out of the way, because we had a very nice comment before the show started from Collie Armstrong, who says, "Howdy all, and to you, Stephen. Before I realize it's my bedtime, great channel. Happy to give you a Patreon of $1 a month. All I can do, but I have a couple going, and at least show some gratitude." Collie, you never have to apologize to me. We only ask for $1 on Patreon. And I've had a bunch of people say, "Hey, I signed up for your Patreon. I'm sorry I only give you $1." Don't ever be sorry, because, brother, $1 is $1. In this economy, I will take $1. Yes, friends, send me your money. So thank you, Collie Armstrong, for your kindness, your generosity, and your kind financial support of the show. It is truly appreciated. It goes a long way towards keeping the show going and keeping me having some time to give to this endeavor. And I keep using that same analogy. I have to, I almost took tonight off, but then I thought I accomplished nothing today. Nothing. I hate weekends like this at the cabin. I had one weekend where I came here and it rained for 3 days straight. It rained. I came on Thursday night and it rained all day Friday, all day Saturday, all day Sunday, and it stopped on Sunday about an hour before I had to go home. So, boy, I hate fighting the weather here sometimes. The cold I can deal with, wear some thermals, double up your pants, whatever you got to do, wear 3 coats, gloves. I can work outside in the winter unless it's like 0. If it's 20, 30, 40, I'm fine. But once it gets to like 10 or 0, yeah. But I can't do anything about the rain, and all the work that I have to do on this sunroom is outside. So I'm going to, and I hate this. I hate that I have tomorrow. I'm going to feel stressed, pressured, and, like under the gun. Like, I got to get some shit done to make this trip worth it. Especially, my wife is at home watching these children, and that's a big sacrifice because she's trying to work and watch 2 boys, 4 and 8, at the same time. Good luck with that mission impossible, right? So back to Spooky. Anybody who would like to join in the stream tonight, because I caught the tail end of CW's and went, yeah, why aren't more of us doing that use StreamYard? CW's using StreamYard. I am too. We can have up to 10 people all together. So just do me a favor and email truthseekershow@gmail.com. Or if you're comfortable doing it, you can give me an email address in the live chat. Is Vanessa Thor inviting me to take off my clothes? I think so. Is that what happened? I got to the stream late, and CW looked like he was sitting there naked, and there was 3 other people, and I was like, what the fuck is going on with this? What the fuck is he doing tonight? Like, right? And how am I supposed to compete with that? Actually, I think that people should throw money at me to keep my clothes on, not take them off, Vanessa Thor. That's my personal opinion. That'd probably be a better value, right? It's funny. Not long ago, I lost like 55 pounds because my wife was like, geez, man, you're looking real fat. And that's a tough pill to swallow, especially when she's right? Like, I was getting a big old beer gut. So, but I lost most of that weight, but now I think I slapped back on about 10 of those pounds. So I have to start watching what I eat again. It's too much beer and it's too much pizza. I heard Dan Hogan in here earlier. There's too much pizza on the wood stove, and especially this new wood cook stove that I have. I love pizza out of those things, man. I ate pizza twice already, and I've been here since Wednesday night. So Wednesday night and yesterday night was pizza. Tonight I'm going to try to eat something a little less of a problem. Oh yeah, or if you'd like to join in the live stream, you can message me on Facebook. It's just Stephen Cambion. 1 second, and so we have one taker already. Let me get the invite ready for you guys. Yeah, so tonight I thought we could have a little more of a laid back and maybe like a roundtable discussion about this censorship that's going on and the destruction of all of these different YouTube channels. it's really, where is the, now I can't find an invite. Oh, there it is. Let me copy that. Okay, and I'm going to send it to our friend in Facebook that would like to join in. That would be my pleasure. And anybody can join in tonight, up to 10 people. Let's have a good time, right? Let's have a good time and see what happens. And we can have a sort of a roundtable discussion. Robin Eaglesong is the first taker to join us. Vanessa Thor says, hard to picture Stephen Plump. Before I got married, Vanessa Thor, I was single and living by myself, and I didn't take care of myself, and I was like a starving artist. I really didn't eat, so I was like emaciated thin. Like people thought I was anorexic. It was just that I didn't eat. Okay, Spooky says that she's going to make a drink, and then she will be there. Yeah, just send me. You know what, Spooky? I'll send you the invite on Twitter. Let me get over there. And I will. Oh, you know what? I want to take a look real quick. All right. I just wanted to check in with YouTube and look at what the stream looked like. You guys know that I had a terrible time. And this is the same webcam where it looked like complete and total garbage the last time I tried this. I don't know if it's bandwidth issues, what it is. I did do some maintenance to this laptop. Hopefully that was what the issue was. So Spooky, I'm going to go to Twitter and I'm going to send you the invite link. You are most welcome as well. So we'll have Robin Eaglesong and Twitter. I think it's at Fires. Is it at Fires of Truth? I think, Spooky. Yeah, Spooky at Fires of Truth. And I'm going to DM you. I'm going to DM you the StreamYard invite link. So whenever you're ready, let me get back to StreamYard. Oh, and then I see now we have Robin here. So we're going to add Robin. How you doing, Robin? Welcome.
Oh, hi, Stephen. It's good to see you. I'm well. How are you?
Good. I have deja vu. For those that don't know, on Robin's channel, I did a guest spot on her show, which was a lot of fun and cathartic for me because I got to talk about one of my greatest passions, which is building this crazy place. And,
and you were absolutely stellar. What a good show that was.
Yeah, I've had a lot of people that I sent it to were like, wow, this was great, because a lot of people asked me a lot of questions and I don't know how to explain it. So it was cool to have that show where I could explain how some of this crazy happened. It was fun.
Oh, it was so interesting. And it just, we were all totally engaged. Yeah, good show. And the way you described your process and your plans and your thoughts at the time, it was just absolutely perfect. Thank you for that.
Yeah, pretty well. It was good for me too. Boy, that sounded dirty, Robin. You got to be careful.
We'll go there.
Yeah. So anybody that would like to join in tonight, we're going to have sort of a roundtable discussion, and anybody can join in. I think we're going to have Spooky. And there's Mario Heat in our live chat. Mario Heat, I noticed something funny in the CW. I never seen Mario Heat before, so I didn't know. But Mario Heat, yeah, Mario Heat is like Mexican. It's funny connecting a face to the name, the chat room ID. Sometimes I never would have guessed that he was Mexican, but I don't know, right?
Or is he Corsican?
Yeah, maybe you're right. I'm sorry. Well, he's
Greek,
Hispanic, or Latin. I thought he said he was Mexican on CW's stream, but I don't know.
I'm sort of pulling your leg. Sorry.
Oh, okay. All right, good. So anybody else that would like to join in? And tonight we're going to be talking about the recent censorship. Oh, hold on one second. My
What'd you do?
Something fell over here. Hold on one second. Oh, you know what? I'm just going to leave it. It's fine. Yeah. So the recent censorship of Facebook and Twitter of information that doesn't paint Joe Biden in a good light, and then The very next day after that happened, YouTube struck down all of these channels, including Edge of Wonder, which is a huge channel, Mouthy Buddha, Praying Medic, and Jordan Sather, all huge YouTube channels.
Huge, and they had clout, and they, they were like influencers. God, I hate that word. But they were like in the big leagues. They had what, thousands and thousands of subscribers and fans, and they made money.
Yeah.
Bless them. But boy, what a grand sweep that was.
Yeah, Lee Veltman is in the chat, and I'm trying to get him to come on my show because he's so connected to all this Q nonsense. And he says, sorry, I know a bit too much about the purge and who's all involved.
Yeah. Interesting. See,
Carol Ellie said there was 20 channels total so far.
20. Well, I don't know if anybody knows who Daniel John Lee is, the really crazy redheaded guy. His is gone too.
Yeah, there's a huge list of them.
Isn't that great?
Yeah, and so Mario Heat is here, Vanessa Thor is here. I'm just giving some shout outs. Carol Utley is here. We have Bee Gees is here. UFO Gandalf, Jeanette Krasenko, Dan Hogan.
Yeah, gosh.
Dan Hogan wants to come and join in too. So let me
friends.
I'll send it to you on Twitter, Dan Hogan.
William Pixley, holy cow, that's like a blast from the past. Haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah. He comes around here to tell me how wrong I am, but I need him, so I like that.
Okay. Well, that makes
he and I get into it sometimes.
Well, that makes a really nicely rounded show.
Yeah, we like all viewpoints here.
Yeah, all are welcome. Almost all are welcome. Not everybody, but most.
Yeah. So, what do you think about this big purge, and how all these people are losing their channels? And was it justified them doing that, since a lot of them do spread a lot of bullshit?
They spread a lot of bullshit, but they've been allowed to spread a lot of bullshit for a really, really long time. I'm wondering about the timing of it and just the significance of that timing.
Yeah, is this have anything to do with the election? I don't know.
Or who knows? It's all just so bizarre right now. Everything coming across the news wires. Boy, is that an archaic saying? But all the news we get is just so bizarre, and it's really focused, and it's like guiding our thoughts, and where we're going to go next with being either pissed or scared or angry or dismayed. It's just all really so weird. Boy, you guys out there, disengage as much as you fucking can. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. We're okay with curses.
Oh,
that's
thanks.
fine. You can curse all you want.
Oh,
yeah.
Lord.
So I kind of think, though, that I have one problem with all of the channels getting deleted, and that is, it's like that old saying: they came for the Catholics and I did nothing, and then they came for the Gypsies and I did nothing, and then they came for the Jews and I did nothing. But then they came for me. So
and there was nobody left to come for me.
Yeah. But my fear, and people were taking victory laps, like, good, fuck them. Fuck those assholes selling all that bullshit. Fuck them. Let them get real jobs. And part of me agrees with that. Like, you've been selling bullshit for years on it. Some of those guys haven't had a real job in years on end. They just sell bullshit. So part of me is like, get a fucking job, pal. See how the rest of the world has to live. You can't just make a living selling nonsense and bullshit and fake stories. But the other half of me worries if it's Q and conspiracy, Pizzagate conspiracy stuff. Next, it might be UFOs or any kind of paranormal or fringe topics could be next. They could just start stamping out channels that talk about UFOs or stamping out channels that talk about secret space program or whatever.
Yeah, or mention taking your temperature. For Christ's sake, where is it going from here? Yeah, it's really suspicious to me because why all?
And it's so extreme too. I heard from a friend of a YouTube channel that got taken down because they did a story about how most of the people that are having like fatalities from COVID were severely vitamin D deficient. And they weren't selling vitamin D on their channel or their website. They were just trying to inform the public, like, hey, maybe you should take some vitamin D supplements, and that might maybe help you if you do get this terrible affliction. You'll have an easier time dealing with it, because it seems like everybody, or a great percentage of the people that are suffering fatalities or very serious illness are severely vitamin D deficient.
And you know what? Here's what I know about that. Yes, I'm certain they were vitamin D deficient, but you know what? We as a population, every one of us, all of us are deficient in vitamin D. You know, we slap on the 40 straight sunscreen. We stay indoors. We don't get out and play anymore. We are there are. I have saw in my line of work. I saw 8-year-old kids whose labs came out severely deficient in vitamin D. So you know what that guy said was the truth. That was
Yeah,
the
and
truth.
then and the other thing
But
that's kind of
there was no causality. It's just like everybody is. So he told the truth, but not as related to COVID.
yeah, but the other thing that's funny about all this is like, oh, we need to go outside to get vitamin D. But for a large portion of the lockdown, at least in my state, they closed even state parks, playgrounds. You stay home. Don't go outside. They were telling everybody, don't go anywhere outside. Go to the supermarket and home, and that's it. So in a situation where people need to be outside to get some exercise and vitamin D
and
through the natural,
yeah,
they're telling you not to, which is strange,
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, and the censorship is weird. Like all this channel did was a story on maybe you should take some vitamin D, and they, I don't know.
Which is good advice anyway. Probably, I'm not a doctor, but that might be good advice anyway. General advice, but also take, maybe get a little vitamin C.
Yeah,
I've heard.
Yeah,
I've also heard zinc. If you're
I'm taking all of them. I'm taking all of them. I'm taking vitamin D, vitamin C. I'm taking a zinc tablet, and I'm drinking chaga tea every day, just in case.
We should talk sometime.
Yeah, it's supposed to be good for you. I don't know. I don't know if it is, but I thought it can't hurt. They sell it on Amazon in tea bags. There's people around the cabin that go and they harvest it off the tree and make their own. I don't know.
Oh, dang.
I don't know how to do that. So I was like, I'll just order it from Amazon.
Yeah, really be safe. Boy, that's really radical, harvesting off the trees. That is so cool. I want to live in the forest too.
Yeah. Well, they have a few more people that wanted to join in. I sent the link to both of them on Facebook. On Twitter. So Dan Hogan and Spooky, I sent you both the link via Twitter DM. You should be able to get it.
I don't know if I know these fellows. Spooky.
Oh, they're good people. You would like them. You would like them. It's okay.
Oh, I'm sure if they're in your gang, of course I'll like them. I've seen them in this chat.
I'm sure you've been in the live chat with some of them, either here or Paranormal Hood or CW's channel. Yeah.
Oh, I haven't been to CW's in a really long time.
Yeah.
There's a story behind that, but I shall not recite it here.
Vanessa Thor says, not in California. We have ads everywhere, encourage people to get outside in open spaces every day across the radio, TV. Well, good. It's good to know. In my state, they were telling everybody to stay home, don't go out, and they you couldn't take your kid to the playground down the street. They shut everything. The playgrounds, the state parks were closed, everything. Hiking trails, you couldn't go anywhere. They just shut it all down.
Vanessa, I'm also in California. We didn't get any such ads pushing us where I live. I live in the LA area, and we were told, stay the frick in and only go out and then after a few months, then they say, okay, well, if you're going to walk your dog, keep 6 feet. Okay, so Vanessa, okay, you're up there.
Yeah, she says Sonoma, Napa Bay area.
Oh, you're in God's country up there,
Northern California. Yeah.
Oh, what a beautiful part of California that is. Jeez, oh, mezo. Yeah, you guys were a bit more relaxed than we're more dense down here. Way, way, way more people. We're kind of crowdy, and so we had more stringent requirements for going through your day.
Sorry, I'm trying to adjust my ramshackle system here.
Well, it's appropriate for a cabin in the woods. Oh, look at those logs up there, Stephen.
Yeah, it looks good.
That is just. Do you ever just stop and look at the shit you've done and just go, damn, I
Yeah,
did this.
sometimes I stop and I love that after a really hard day's work where you really make a lot of progress. One of my favorite things to do is to just step back, right?
Uh,
Just step back and see what progress you made and look at that wall that wasn't there, and reflect on all the shit you had to do to make it happen. But
yeah, yeah, and
yeah.
you
This
turned.
weekend was terrible though because I got here on Wednesday and Thursday I wasn't really feeling well. And that worried me, like I think started getting anxiety attacks because any little scratch in my throat or whatever, I start
Mhm.
worrying.
Yeah.
So I kind of just laid around and tried to sleep it off, rest a little bit. I had like a sore throat and that kind of went away as of today. I'm feeling much better, but it rained all day today. So I just
Oh,
blew, I got a little bit done on Thursday, not as much as I would like to. And now I have, tomorrow I'm going to have a hell of a day. Probably going to wake up super early and try to get at it so that I could feel like this weekend was worth coming here to get some progress. I hate it
well,
when there's no progress. It bugs me. Or like when something happens, like one time my car was dead for a few weeks, like, and I had to get another car. And I was hating that. Like I can't get to the cabin to make any progress, right?
oh, yeah. But you know what? Maybe you just needed to, maybe Mother Nature was saying, sit your ass down and just stop for a minute. And so now for tomorrow, you're raring to go. Um,
Yeah, I'm hoping that I feel rested tomorrow.
yeah, well,
Jason Albert is sending me a message. For your sound or speak up, I want to watch, but the last two vids too quiet and can't hear anything. I'm a fan of your work. Keep it up, but fix your sound. I only get complaints from you, Jason Albert. I haven't had anybody say
and
they couldn't hear me or that the sound wasn't good. So maybe you can
maybe
adjust
you
your
need to,
settings.
or maybe that gentleman needs to upgrade his phone. If you're on a phone, sometimes it's really
Yeah.
dicey.
Well, I always listen to people when they say something like that, but I think Walter Bosley was complaining. He had a bunch of posts about that. Like he's got like a really expensive mic, and people still tell him the same thing. Like, oh, your sound is terrible, and he's like, this mic is the same mic that everybody
Yeah,
uses.
not on my end, dude. Check
Yeah.
check your equipment on
Okay. So
that
we have
end.
a few more people that want to chime in and join in the stream tonight, and I'm happy to
Oh,
have them,
cool.
but nobody's joined yet. But I have 3 links out. If anybody else would like to, you can email me or DM me on Twitter or send me a Facebook message. The email address is truthseekershow@gmail.com, and I'll send you the link through email, or if you know me on Facebook, it's just Steve Cambian. You can send me a private message and I'll send you the link. Or if you know me on Twitter, it's @StephenCambian. I'll send you the link from there. One way or the other, we'll get you the link. I don't want to put it in the live chat because then some nut jobs could come in that we don't know who they are.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I've had one
Yeah,
or
that
two
could
of
be
those.
bad. That could
Yeah,
go not well, right?
yeah, yeah. Okay,
Oh,
Lee
here we
Veltman.
go. We have
Lee Veltman.
Jonaside. Jonaside is here.
Genocide.
Yeah, Jonaside is here. Good to see you, Jonaside, and good to put a face to your name.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you virtually, and good to have you here.
Isn't it nice to be had, Genocide?
Sometimes.
Sometimes. So, we're talking about this recent censorship. What do you think about, first, what do you think about Facebook and Twitter going out of their way to stop people from sharing a New York Post article? And next, what do you think of this big YouTube purge where all these channels got deleted?
Well, I think we need freedom of speech is important in this country, but you're doing freedom of speech on a corporation. They have a right to censor you. While I don't agree with everybody's opinions on, like, I don't like Jordan Sather. I stopped watching Edge of Wonder months ago. They still have a right to put their product out, just not
Yeah.
on YouTube. Maybe not on Twitter, maybe not on Facebook, but they have a right. They have websites. You can pay to watch them now. They can still make money doing this. As far as the
Yeah,
New
but
York
I think, though, that, that
article,
that model doesn't really work because you need YouTube and Twitter to
yeah,
have the following to get people behind that paywall. So I think they're all going to have a really hard time. Everybody that's tried that, it didn't work out. I think
I
the only
agree.
one that survived this so far is Alex Jones, but he had such a huge following already, you know.
Oh, and Alex Jones is sort of like everybody's practical joke show. He has no teeth anymore. He's sort of like comedy entertainment these days.
Yeah, it's like wrestling. It's like you watch too much wrestling or something because he's
Yeah,
just like yelling and screaming for no reason. And like I used to watch him, I haven't.
Too much cocaine.
Too much cocaine, yeah. And then we have here we have Dan Hogan is joining the stream.
Oh, cool.
Guests. There's Dan Hogan.
Hey, Dan Hogan.
So Dan Hogan, what do you think about this? About these recent things that have happened with the censorship with Facebook and Twitter stopping people? And by the way, Twitter had an amazing reversal. Now they're letting people share it, and they basically said, "Yeah, we didn't handle this well." But I think it was like a Barbara Streisand effect. More people saw it for them having banned everybody from sharing it. And what do you think of the YouTube purge, Dan Hogan?
I don't know. I mean, it's kind of like a slippery slope to me because, I mean, the way that I've always looked at it is Twitter and Facebook and all of these social media companies are private entities. So it's kind of like when you join, you're adhering to a certain, term of service, like I think you had mentioned before. So it's kind of like what you say on there can have consequence because they can kick your ass off of the platform because it's their company. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of people who would argue the whole First Amendment, freedom of speech part of it. And I'm not saying that there's not an argument to be had there, but I mean, I guess at the end of the day, if you're conservative voice, I mean, there's always you can create another, platform to have those kind of opinions where you're not going to get drowned out. So I don't agree with it, I guess, at the end of the day, but at the same time, like it is their company, it's their terms of service. If you can't follow the rules, then I guess they're going to do what they're going to do.
Yeah, and, Edge of Wonder is an interesting case to me because if it's pretty much a proven fact that they're some sort of like they put themselves out there like we're independent content creators, but they're really part of a propaganda arm of a Chinese cult, to me, that should be enough to get their channel deleted. Like you're masquerading as independent content creators while you have this Falun Gong overlords, financing you. There's no way they weren't financed. And they were botted out the wazoo too. So when they said they had no policy violations, I just kind of laughed. Like, how could you have no policy violations?
But you know what? All of the social media stuff isn't a democracy. You have no rights.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah.
They can do what the hell they want. And they do. And they're showing it big time. And I'm wondering if the Twitter going down for all those hours has anything to do with that. Do you think that's related?
It could be. Yeah. I mean, there was some, and that's funny. Donald Trump, he's such an idiot. He, Spooky is here. Let's add Spooky to the stream. But I don't see your, we don't see you. We just hear you. But that's okay if that's.
Turn the camera off because it's the middle of the night and I look like crap. So
no, I hear you.
Is my mic a lot better than the last one? I think I fixed it.
Yeah, it sounds okay.
Sound good here.
Excellent. Cool.
So why did you get CW Chandler naked? I missed it. What happened?
He said if I put on a wife beater that he would take his shirt off because he didn't have a wife beater. So I called him on it. And
oh, that's crazy.
That was a fun time.
I haven't seen CW Chanter naked in many years. There a few years ago, I got him and Shadow Zone Productions to take off their shirts at the same time live on CW's show. That was the last time I saw him without a shirt.
Yeah, I'm just putting up some comments from the live chat. Yeah, it's interesting. Q was determined to be like a potential threat by Homeland Security. But, my issue, I understand all the arguments about these are private companies, they can do what they want. But my issue is that they don't enforce whatever policies that they're claiming they're enforcing equally. Like, for example, and just a correction on the previous show, I mentioned that the hard drive, Hunter Biden's hard drive may have been illegally obtained. And that's the excuse that Twitter used, that this may be hacked material. We're not going to let people share that article. But Donald Trump's tax returns were for sure illegally obtained. And, they let everybody share that story. And it turns out that the hard drive was legally obtained because it was left at a repair shop for more than a certain amount of time. You sign a contract. I know this. I fix computers. If you drop your laptop off to me and you don't pick it up after 90 days or pay me for the work, you sign a contract. That's my laptop now. So that's what happened. It was not hacked material. So the way they enforce these things, and you can share any dirt that you want on the right side, right? You could share any dirt you want on Donald Trump. They'll never step in and stop you. But now that it affected the candidate that they're backing, suddenly they're enforcing these policies. Does everybody think they're enforcing them equally or not?
No.
No, I don't think they are.
Well, I think time will tell if it's equal. It only just started. The bombshell hit just yesterday? Was that when it was? Yesterday?
Yeah, and I have a source that I trust that told me there's so much more on that hard drive to come. Like terrible, terrible bombshells. And Rudy Giuliani, this bothers me a little bit. Mr. Politician is saying, well, 10 days before the election, I'm going to drop the big smoking gun from this hard drive. Like, why don't you just drop it now? And then this whole story is crazy. Like the FBI had that hard drive for a year and they didn't do anything about it or with it, or nobody heard anything about it. And again, people say like this policy about hacked material. I have to trust WikiLeaks to tell me what my government is. They were killing innocent civilians, women and children with drone strikes. I had to hear about that from hacked emails from WikiLeaks. So in order to get the truth, what is the lesser of two evils? Sharing a hacked email or killing people with drone strikes, right? Like I want to know my government's doing that. So I don't really care if it's hacked material. If it's the truth, we should all get to see it, judge for ourselves. That's my view of it.
Boy, it blows my mind that we have these sorts of conversations today.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the whole thing's a dumpster fire though, because like, I mean, the way I look at it is there's obviously stuff going on with the Bidens. There's obviously stuff that's going on with Trump and his family. I mean, like you can't really.
Absolutely.
I mean, you can argue that they're both. There's criminality in all of it, and that's like the state of affairs in America today. Is that this is who we have to choose from to be the president of the United States.
This is the best that both sides can do, which is really scary.
Of 300 million people, these are the best two guys that we could put out there to represent our country. That's what's really sad about it.
Isn't that sad? It's been sad for a long time. The first time we put an actor in the White House, that just, we had him as our governor here in California first. And I thought at the time, okay, he's charming, he's dashing, he's a great cowboy. He was married to America's image of anorexia. And then we voted him into the White House, for Christ's sake. That's when it really went south for me. And now
I don't know. I was like a child when Ronald Reagan was president, but I kind of remember liking him and thinking that he had balls and he had class and he stood up for the American people. He
was an actor, sweetheart.
Yeah. He knew how to work a room for sure, right?
For sure. And he could even keep going when he developed Alzheimer's. Toward the end of his term, he definitely had dementia. And then Nancy took over and was his mouthpiece and kind of guided him. And, but boy, it's been so bizarre ever since then,
Yeah. It's funny is I was thinking about February of this year and like how different, and it's only just last February, like how different the world was in February. Yeah, it feels like 5 years. Yeah, that feels like 2020 is like we're 5 years in, and it's still. I can't wait until New Year's because I'm hopeful that that'll be like a purge of this shit show year, and next year's got to be better. But I'm going to jinx it if I think that, right?
Yeah. 2020 is just the appetizer for the main entree of 2021.
Oh, God, don't say that. Oh,
yeah.
Jesus,
just go 2030. Just skip the next 10 years.
Yeah, if I ever wished I had a time machine, it was right now, just so I could go check what's going to happen next year. Or do we go live out our lives like if we could just travel back in time to before all this technology and shit? I'd be fine.
I want to go back to the 80s. That decade was so cool. It was when my kids were teenagers, we went through all that stuff. They had that crazy hair. And I want to go back to, it was so much more simple then. I'm talking like an old freaking lady, but I am.
Yeah, I'm a
Spooky,
child.
I didn't ask Spooky. What did you think of Twitter and Facebook censoring those New York Post articles? And what did you think of the purge, the YouTube purge, where all these
I've been
channels got
sat here
deleted?
like thinking about it, and I'm thinking about how when we sign up for accounts on these platforms, we're not reading the terms and conditions. We're just scrolling and clicking and going.
Yeah,
through
that
it.
10-page EULA nobody reads.
No one wants to read that.
Mm-hmm.
And we're ceding control of the public space to these private entities, and we're not bothering to read what we're signing over. But culturally, we're ignoring, like, going outside and talking to people face to face and creating this new public space that we've ceded control over to these private entities. That's where all of the discourse is now happening.
Yeah.
But it hasn't been instilled with human ethics. It's capitalist ethics, and it doesn't work.
Yeah, but I think it's funny that both Twitter and Facebook have a lawyer whose job it is to work on their corporate ethics. But I really think it's just how they're defending the ethics that they choose to have, which may be good or bad for the user. If you really want to go crazy into the world of technology and how badly you're getting fucked, go listen to a lecture by Richard Stallman. He will change your life. Like, I grew up listening to this guy, and I agree with him mostly that these companies just abuse us and use our data to profit, and they should be avoided at all costs. But then real life, like, you kind of need it now. You can't really.
And the allure is great. You get so many, what do you get? Your endorphins, from responses from the stuff and interacting. I think it's a hoot. I use social media, and they're trying to sell me shit and they're collecting my data. But see, I get the balance of the pleasure of communicating with my granddaughter, with my children, with old friends, and I get to show off on YouTube and show my, so there is an allure and there is a payoff for the users. And I don't use that term lightly. Stephen, you're the one who talked about watching that Netflix, that
the social dilemma. Yeah.
Social dilemma. Yeah, we're all users, and I'm a user, and it gives me great pleasure. And every detail of my life is probably on in the cloud in a little speck somewhere. I don't give a fuck. But yeah.
I remember.
Yeah.
I remember when Gmail and things like that were first becoming popular, and I avoided them at all costs because at that time, I was, again, I can mention Richard Stallman. Like, I was a big supporter of free software and not letting these corporations get control of us or read our own personal. Like, why would I sign up? They're going to read my own personal email and then target ads to me. But a few years goes by, and every friend you have is on Gmail. And then they had the Messenger on Gmail. Then they had Google Hangouts. It's like they entice you with this product that may enhance your life or may be beneficial to you. And then
they start deleting the fun stuff.
Yeah. And then they start the abuse process, right?
But it's like boiling lobsters or boiling frogs. We don't feel it right away. It's just an inconvenience. So it's very nicely calculated, so that we don't get slapped in the head that we're being totally controlled. So it's a gradual process. I appreciate that.
I don't know who this is in the live chat, but they made my night. Good looking honky says, Steve, are we dressing up like Joey Ramone again for Halloween? I guess I look like Joey Ramone every day, so good day there, bro.
No kidding. I was trying to place that look. Oh, good looking honky. Right on.
And what a great avatar and what a great handle. Good looking honky. I think he should go into like chats where like black women are talking and be like, hey, I'm a good looking honky. That would be fun.
Loud and proud.
Yeah, and I think we lost Dan Hogan. So if he wants to join back in,
sorry.
his computer just randomly rebooted. I have given we have one more person joining here. Let's see.
It's a party.
It's Bee Gees.
Yay!
Bee Gees is here.
I'm sorry, my dog's going crazy.
That's fine.
Like,
and Bee
right
Gees,
on cue.
I love the avatar. I love that.
Isn't that great?
That's David Wilcox.
I'm so sorry about my dog.
No, that's okay.
Well,
Okay, so we get a 2 for 1. You and your dog that's speaking in the background. How cool is that? Hi, Bee Gees. It's been a long
Hey.
time.
Yeah,
to
guys,
see you.
I've been a bit unwell, but like I've had like super bad allergies and stuff, and you can probably hear I'm a bit nasally still.
You
but
know, I think that's what's
better.
going on with me, and it's scary because I'm like, is this just every year when the seasons change, I get a couple of sore throats and, like my eyes itch. And I think that's all it was. But with this COVID, I was freaking out like,
Yeah.
doubling
Yeah.
up on the vitamins for the last couple of days.
And you know what? That's probably the best thing you can do.
Can't hurt.
It can't hurt, and it's only good for you. And why not be a little proactive instead of going, "Oh fuck, I'm gonna die."
Yeah, well, that's my go-to. I
Your
don't know what it is.
default?
It's like
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
terrified of this. Like some people I know, especially up here in the mountains where the cabin is, I gotta say the people around here just don't give a fuck. They have like there's gas stations here where if you walk into the gas station with a mask on, the owner of the gas station will be like, "What are you, a pussy? This is all fake." They don't believe it. They're not scared of it. And they're supposed to have 50-50, like they can only have 50% of the restaurants filled. They don't care. Every seat in the restaurant is filled. People are packed in there, and I'm scared. I'm scared of this thing, so I'm wearing the mask. I have hand sanitizer all the time in my car. Anytime I get out of my car and touch something like an ATM or a gas pump, hand sanitizer.
Darling, it's because you're not one of them.
Yeah, and I have I have a child that has asthma too, so he's high risk. And plus, I have a mother-in-law that's like 80 years old. And I don't want to, that would be the worst thing to bring something to somebody that couldn't handle it, right? Even if it doesn't kill me or get me real sick, what if I transmit it to somebody? So I'm trying to be very cautious.
Yeah, and even if it was just regular flu, you wouldn't want to take the risk.
Yeah,
And
Vanessa Thor says it's called being smart and setting your ego aside. Yeah, it's not, I'm not worried about me too much. I have some pre-existing health conditions, and most people would consider me high risk because I'm dumbass and smoke and drink too much. But I'm not really that concerned for me. I'm concerned with giving it to somebody else that really will have a problem with it, right?
Yeah, that's the bigger thing.
Yeah, I have I'm really careful because I have a pre-existing condition. Well, it's really called being old. But
yeah, you guys have a harder time with it, though. That's no joke.
That's what I've heard. But everybody I know, my contemporaries, they're doing the mask thing. They're being careful. Many of my friends have finally stopped sanitizing their dollar bills and their groceries. Boy, I knew a couple of people who, as soon as their groceries would come in, they would spray germ killer, germicide stuff on it, and
my wife wipes down the Amazon packages. She wipes them down.
Oh, honey.
Or she was. I don't know if she still is doing that, but I think she was when this started. Maybe she let her guard down a little on that.
You know what? I did a little bit because I sent my neighbor, he asked if I needed anything from the store, and I gave him money before I gave him the money, and I used rubber gloves. I had a damn mask on. I sprayed that money with Lysol disinfectant. I hung it up over the dish rack. I let it dry. When it was dry, I put it in a Ziploc bag.
We're all going to extremes here, though.
Okay.
And here we have UFO Gandalf is joining us as well.
Hello.
Welcome,
Hello,
UFO.
can you hear me?
Yes.
Good to put a voice. Good to put a voice to UFO Gandalf. Nice to see you.
Hang on. Let me put the camera on.
UFO
Mr. Ken.
Gandalf.
Hey,
Oh,
there
there he is. Oh, he really does look like UFO Gandalf. That's odd. I didn't know. I thought it was just an avatar. I did not know. He's got the whole Gandalf
yes.
thing really going.
Oh,
Nice to
honey,
put a
it
face
is.
to your name, UFO Gandalf. Good
Yeah.
to see
Hey,
you here.
people.
Oh, dude, UFO Gandalf, it's been a long time for you and me. Good to see you again.
It has, Robin. It's been a long time. I've been off camera. I haven't done a video with anyone or a live video for over a year now.
I know. It's been forever. Yeah, you haven't changed a bit. You haven't aged a bit.
Yeah,
I'm out
so
camping.
UFO Gandalf, I'm asking everybody, what did you think of the recent censorship of Facebook and Twitter of this Hunter Biden article? And what do you think of this YouTube purge and how they're deleting all of these channels?
Well, I mean, it was expected. I mean, right at the beginning when all this pandemic was going to happen back in January and February, I watched the agenda, was event 201 it was, whatever that was sponsored by the Gates Foundation. And I mean, if you watched what they were saying, the language and the people that were involved in that simulation for a coronavirus, or they were basically going to shut down free speech, you know, to stop the misinformation. And I think what Johnny said, I don't really watch, you know, any of those people that have been shut down now because I'm not into the queue. I don't believe. I think it's a psyop. I always have. But you know, I believe in free speech, and it's like it's something that's, you know, people can say what they want as long as it's not hate speech or racism or whatever. I just don't think that sort of thing has a place in today's world. But you know, we're really in a bad place. I mean, if you know what's going on in Victoria and Australia at the moment, it's under a complete totalitarian state.
Yeah, I've heard you guys
lockdown.
are really locked down. Has that been when did the lockdown start in Australia, and how bad is it?
Well, at the end of March, they did a full lockdown in Australia for nearly 4 weeks. I think everywhere in Australia we were locked down. Everything got shut down to a point where, you know, it was an extreme measure to what we called flatten the curve, the 2 weeks to flatten the curve. But we opened up in Western Australia pretty much fully because I'm on the West Coast, and we're the most isolated city in the world, so we're separate to the rest of Australia, and they locked our borders pretty hard, and they haven't opened our borders up. So once they got rid of community spread after about 2 months, we've been fully open over here. But what happened was, over in New South Wales, Victoria, they had, or in Victoria specifically, they had a breach in the security of the hotels and got out, and there was a major sort of cluster and a boom, and they had community spread, and they locked down about 10 apartment buildings with about 2,000 people
Yeah, that
for a
was
couple
bad.
of weeks.
Yeah, I saw some of those videos. It was really scary. The guy just wanted to go outside and get some fresh air, and they wouldn't even let him do that.
Well, it got
No,
worse.
they
It
wouldn't
got
let them
worse
out of their
because
apartments.
It got
no,
worse.
that's right. It got worse because the whole state got locked down eventually, even the rural areas, and they're still under a 5-kilometre limit for the last 2 months. They had a curfew put on them, but the police have gone crazy there. Like, they're finding people for not wearing masks, and they're arresting old ladies and arresting pregnant women, and they're trying to stop people from protesting, and it is out of control. And I mean, we're lucky that we don't have that in Western Australia, and hopefully, if things get better in Victoria and they open up, and by Christmas maybe we'll open our borders to a few of the states, and we can sort of have some sort of, you know, normality where people can travel around Australia without being restricted. But I mean, I don't think it's ever going to go back to the way it was, the normality.
Yeah,
of it.
that's what's scary to me is like, you know, the problem with giving the government this kind of power, they're not going to want to give it up. So what's to stop them next year? Let's say there's a vaccine and this COVID thing goes away, or great therapeutics, and this COVID thing is gone by next year. What's to stop them, you know, the following year from saying, well, there's a very particularly virulent form of flu this year, and we're going to have to do lockdowns to prevent a lot of deaths.
Well, that's right.
You know,
that's right.
If
it only takes one more outbreak and it all gets shut down again. And the problem is they've just passed a bill in Victoria. It's called the Omnibus Bill. And this bill basically allows them, there's 2 things that they've passed that are important with this. One is that they can basically arrest you for thinking that you're going to do something that's not against against the regime or against the law. So you don't even have to do it. You just have to. They just have to assume that you're, or have the belief that you are thinking of doing something, and they can arrest you. And the second thing is that they're pushing the fact that they want to bring in UN or other policing forces from outside Australia that are not accountable for anything that they do. So
That's
they
crazy.
cannot be. So they can arrest you and forcibly vaccinate you, and you can't sue anyone. You can't hold anyone accountable. So these are the sort of laws that they're trying to bring in, and the craziness that we're sort of
Scary.
facing. So
We're
I mean, I
lucky
personally
in,
will never take a vaccine, and I'll I'll defend my life on that. They're never going to be able to force me to have a vaccine. So I'll go bush and live off the system and off-grid if I have to. But
Yeah,
I mean,
here
I
in
just hope
South
enough people
Australia,
wake up before it gets to that point where we don't. Sorry, go on, B.
Sorry, in South Australia, we're very similar to Dex as far as we had a very small outbreak. We've got like 3 or 4 active cases, I think, in the whole state, but no community transmission, and everything's open and normal. But we've got friends in Victoria, and it's
that's
nuts
right.
over there, man.
So you guys have travel restrictions. You can't travel outside your town, right?
Yeah, you've got to. We don't in South Australia. Same as Western Australia. Like we're open as a state, but to travel to other states, you've got to do like 2 weeks in quarantine, and then you can go and do your thing. So
so B can't come over here to Western Australia, even though she's in the state next to us, and neither of us have any transmission, because they won't let her cross the border. And if she has a reason to come here for work, she'll have to isolate for 14 days before she can go and do anything.
Wow, that's
and pay for it in a hotel.
Exactly, and you got to pay for it. It's like $3,000.
Well, Dex, that restriction of that you're describing, holy cow! That, as we complain about it here, but
I don't think it's as bad here. But we did have what the thing that bothers me about the United States, and this will just show you, like, United States capitalism rules, is that most of the lockdowns nationwide are only affecting sole proprietor businesses. And it's crazy to me. Like, okay, so I can't get COVID if I go to Home Depot or to Walmart, but I can get COVID if I go to my local hardware store run by,
Isn't that
there's no logic in this.
interesting?
Yeah, so they're killing all the small businesses. They're just 8 months now. 8 months now, a lot of them couldn't have been. Well, no, I think it was like maybe 5 months. All the mom and pops were shut down, and now they're allowing some of them to start opening up.
Yeah, this is the heart. This is the heart of the middle class, y'all. And so now this is working toward a society of very rich people and very poor people. They want a two-class society.
Exactly right.
I think.
Yeah, I always joke every time I see
getting rid of the
like this happen. I always say, if they keep this shit up, it's going to be time to eat the rich real soon.
Yep.
Like, the system is not sustainable. Like, how long do you think you're going to beat up the poor people before they finally say, you know what, fuck? And it's happening in our country. That's part of this BLM riots and all this stuff and Antifa.
Yep.
They want to take the system down and start over. People are getting pissed. People are getting pissed.
You guys who are not in our country, there are many people who, no matter what the outcome, there is a fear about the aftermath of the election.
Yeah.
There's already a whole lot of controversy about the ballots and the voting and the places and the boxes and the fake shit. This is only the build up to what a lot of people are saying. Holy fuck, hang on to your loved ones, lock your doors, because it's going to go nuts. So that's sort of in the shadow news, but it's still reaching enough people that this anticipation is being whipped up.
And I hope that it's going to be a landslide either way. I don't care who wins, but I just hope it's a landslide either way, so that it's not going to be close. Because if it's close, both sides are going to say they cheated, you cheated, we cheated. And then there's going to be a problem with the peaceful transfer of power.
It ain't going to be.
I think you're right.
Problem.
We all lose.
I think you're right, Stephen.
Yeah.
If from an outsider point of view, it just seems like someone's really pushing for a civil war in your country. You know, and if it's close, that could tip the scale. You know, like
this whole business, this whole horse crap, with the lockdowns and the controls and the Gestapo tactics, it seems like it's like an experiment.
Yeah. And it seems like they're just trying to keep pushing it, how far they can push.
Throwing more components into the mix, using this test tube instead of that one. It's like, and run on this wheel and go through this maze. It's like a big, massive global experiment. And everybody's using the same terminology. You notice that?
The playbook, It's like they have a playbook.
It's like like the AP Bible, that every journalist owns one. Everybody is using the same lingo. This
same
country,
as when they were doing the terrorism, the terrorism.
Other country, they're
using the word terrorism. Now it's the new normal, and everybody's saying it.
Yeah,
the new normal,
and all these terms.
I
never even heard any of these terms until this all started. Social distancing, and 2 weeks.
Saying that
2 weeks to flatten the curve.
Flattening the curve. Every country across the globe, they're using. It's like everybody's plugged into this one computer bank, and everybody's mouthing the same words. And Jesus Christ, you guys, turn off the news. Turn off the news. Yeah. Stop it. Stop hearing this. It makes no sense. If you try to make sense of it, it'll make you crazy.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Okay, I'm done. Sorry.
Hey,
so I just want to mention if anybody else wants to join in.
Please, somebody join in too.
You can send me a message on Facebook. It's just Stephen Cambion, or a DM on Twitter. It's @StephenCambion, or you can just send me a email at truthseekershow@gmail.com. I'll send you the StreamYard link. Everybody's welcome to join. We can have up to 10 guests here tonight.
On a positive note, who wants to see the wolf?
I do.
What?
You want to see the wolves?
Sure.
Inky.
Oh, is that a husky or a Malamute husky? Or is it really
Malamute?
Malamute. My favorite dog I ever had was a Malamute husky UFO Gandalf. He lived to be 18 years old.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And then we had to put him down.
Beautiful.
And that was the worst thing that I couldn't do it. My brother had to take him. It was my father's dog, and my father died, and then the dog lived like 8 more years after my father died.
You were so lucky. Okay, is this baby a boy or a girl?
He's a boy. He's only 2 years old.
Does he talk to you? Does he do that?
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I love that about them. They talk and talk.
He's very vocal. He's like, we're camping out.
Precious.
I can show you. We're in the swag, you see.
Yeah, the only thing I hated.
Cool.
Look at that. Yeah. The only thing I hated about the Malamute Husky is that you could brush like a trash bag of hair off of them in the spring and the summer every day.
Yeah.
And then the next day, you could brush another trash bag full of hair off of them.
I'm in spring and summer now, and I've just literally pulled like 2 trash bags off him in the last month.
Wow, so UFO Gandalf, you're literally you're like in a tent, right?
Yeah, it's a swag, tent swag. I've traveled 3.5 hours south of Perth to come down to do the fruit picking for the next 6 months, because we have no backpackers coming into our country anymore because all the borders are shut and the whole world's gone crazy.
Yeah.
And so all the seasonal workers,
yeah.
Well, all the seasonal workers are not here. So I've decided, instead of working in the city this summer, I'm coming down here to pick fruit and enjoy myf. So
that's awesome. I saw Jonaside. What was that? A cat, Jonaside, or is it a dog?
Little dog.
Oh, cool! Yeah, I just saw some big furry thing on you earlier.
With eyes, I saw this cute little thing with eyes. Can you bring that little one on? Can you bring her on again?
It's funny, between the two of you, you have the entire range of dog size.
Look at
dog is big as Inky too.
Oh,
yeah.
Super fly.
My wife and me have this little tiny Yorkshire. What is it? It's a mini, like a toy Yorkie. It's so tiny. It doesn't even feel like a dog to me.
Oh yeah, a little tiny heartbeat in one hand. You can hold them in one hand. Okay,
Yeah, that's
Jonathan.
awesome, Jonathan.
Jonathan, what is your baby's name?
This is Thor.
Thor.
Awesome.
Thor, the
Well,
god of
that's a
thunder.
manly name for a
Dude,
dog.
what happened was Loki actually tricked Thor into becoming a Pomeranian. It gets worse. We had him fixed.
Oh,
That's pretty
God
awesome.
of Thunder has no balls.
Thor. Thor.
Yeah, they don't want to get in the car with you again after that. Like last time I lost my balls.
What? Oh, look at that.
Here, we'll take some comments from the live chat. The two parties are in lockstep with Wall Street. All else is obfuscation. Yeah, I think that we live in a corporate technocracy or something now. We don't really have democracy anymore. We have the illusion of it. They let us think we have a choice. Look, you can choose between these two idiots.
Yeah, what a choice.
The illusion of choice.
And I always say this: the lesser of two
Yeah,
evils
exactly.
is still evil. So I don't want to pick.
Yeah,
Two
I
wings
want
of the
more
same
than
bird.
two choices. You know, I want. Why do we only have two freaking choices? I want more choices. But you know that'll never happen. Just like one man, one vote will never happen. You know, it's just, man. I'm glad I'm old. You know, you guys coming up after me. You know, geez, I wish you well. The way this shit's developing now.
Yeah, that's nice. It's like, good luck, assholes. I'm checking out.
Adios, muchachos.
Thanks. Good for you, Robin.
Yeah, I'll go out with a flash. Yeah, but bless you. You know, well, you know, just really seriously, it's just, it doesn't make any fucking sense if you really think about it all. Where I can't find any sense in any of this going on. You know, from the election, from the people involved, you know, and what's being done to us, and the fact that we're okay with it. It's just.
I think Bunya's right. It's idiocracy.
Yep, idiocracy. That's the best way to put it. Yeah, I don't know. I'm like, I used to be very positive and hopeful and stuff about the future, especially being like a young father, and I have two children, you know, so I was trying to be like, always trying to be very positive. And this thing really, you can talk about too, just the psychological effects of all of this. Like maybe I wasn't wired too tight before this shit happened. And you know, but I got fearful about the future now. And I also got a little crazy and paranoid about making sure that I can protect my family no matter what craziness comes, you know?
Yeah, sweetheart. I grew up with Grace Slick and the Beach Boys. So this shit is really a shock to my system.
Yeah, good vibrations, right?
Good. Yeah. So, boy, watching this progression all of my life, it's just so shocking now.
I hope that's not somebody coming to get one of us.
Oh, did you hear that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No, it's okay.
Oh,
I think it's funny.
was that?
I
really?
once had police come here to the cabin, and they knocked on the door, and I was like 2:00 in the morning, and I was drunk, and they knocked on the door, and I was like, what the fuck? Like I look out, and there's like 4 cop cars and guys with riot gears and long guns. And it turned out that they were trying to serve a warrant on a neighbor that lived like another mile or two away into the woods. They just knew it was a cabin in the woods where this guy was supposed to live. So they came up the dirt road, and the first cabin in the woods, there's no address markers. So they like all but tackled me, and I had to show them my ID. I don't like police visitors here. So now I had to get an address so that they know now.
A real one, and great big whitewashed.
But it's funny.
letters.
It turned out to be like a warrant over child support, which I thought was funny that they sent that
And
many
they
cops.
sent-
But I don't blame them. They don't want to. The guy said, like I said, do you really need all this to serve a warrant for that? And he said, we got to be safe, and you never know. Everybody up here has guns, so you know
Holy
we come
crap.
back and
Well, that's only good sense. I guess, but did you even for a half second or a heartbeat think, oh fuck, I've been swatted?
Yeah, I did for a second. I just was confused and a little drunk, and I'm just hanging out in my cabin, and all of a sudden all these cops came, like 4 cops with long guns and riot gear, and I was like, And nobody ever knocks on the door here, you know? Like I have one neighbor that comes over and he just walks right in. He's a good, you know what I mean? He doesn't knock.
Days.
Well, once in a while he does if he thinks I'm sleeping or something. But nobody ever knocks here at 2 o'clock in the morning. So I was like, well, who the fuck is here at 2 o'clock in the morning? Nobody even knows I'm here really. And it turned out to be these cops, and they, you know, yeah, they were trying to serve a warrant. So, and they got the guy eventually. You know, they went further up the street, and they apologized. The guy handed they were sure I was lying though. You know, they said a name, and I'm like, that's not me. You got the wrong place. I probably got the wrong person. That's not me. And the guy's like, sure it isn't. Get down on the ground. And I'm like, oh shit, you know.
Did you really? Did you get down on the ground?
Yeah, and then I had to go find my wallet. I didn't even know where my wallet was to show my ID. And then they were running my plates on my car. But it was all good. They kind of had a laugh. And then the one guy's like, the one cop said something to me like, have you been drinking? And then the other cop was like, he's an adult. He's in his
your cabin in the woods.
If he wants to drink, he's allowed. I think he's of age, you know. And then it was funny. I was like looking around like, oh man, is there like a bong around here or something that they're going to see, you know?
Oh man.
It's not legal where you're at?
Okay. Did you ask them if you could take a selfie with them after all that?
No, I didn't. I was just happy that they weren't, because at first I was like thinking like, what could cops be doing here for me? This is crazy, right? But I knew it wasn't me because so
They're here to shut down
like
your
visitors.
YouTube channel.
Yeah, we don't like late night visitors.
Good
Right?
one.
I do not like late night visitors, especially if they're police officers. But luckily, it wasn't about me. So, and now I laugh. It is funny to laugh about it now, but at the time, it was like,
Yeah.
holy Jesus,
Not when you were
what's
laying
going
on the floor.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow, what a story.
I was
Yeah.
thinking about what you were saying a minute ago about psychological effect
Yeah.
of this whole like time. And have any of you heard of a guy called Dominic Cummings?
No.
No.
He was the guy who basically ran the Brexit campaign and worked with Cambridge Analytica, and he also had a hand in the Trump campaign in 2016. That kind of rhetoric and whipping up of the base and stuff. So throughout the whole lockdown, the UK was like completely locked down for about 2.5, 3 months. And this guy drove he found out his wife was sick.
Oh yeah, I've seen a story about this dude.
So he drove all the way up north
and got
his
away
wife.
with it.
Yeah, and with his kid under the guise of, oh, we needed to find care for our child. So they went to this where his wife's parents were, and they had like a spare house, so they stayed in that house. And then on top of that, to test whether he could drive or she could drive on her birthday, they drove to this castle and back, which is like a 20-minute drive. But what that event had in terms of psychological effect on the population is it completely broke the trust in the system of, oh, we're trying to flatten the curve and we're trying to stop all of this unnecessary death happening. Because that guy was basically number 2 in terms of prime minister. He was the lead advisor and basically in charge, because Boris Johnson can't make decisions ever.
Yeah, this is like Nancy Pelosi getting caught going to a beauty
Right.
parlor while they're all shut
Right.
down.
It completely undermines the whole
The
trust
rules
factor.
are for the peasants, not for us.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah,
There
and
is
Chris
a huge-
Cuomo faking coming out of the basement for the first time when everybody knows he'd been out of his house a bunch of times during the lockdown. That was funny. And it's like the elite class think that that's just for the peasants. Let's keep those peasants stuck at home and locked down so that they don't spread the germs to us rich people.
Since that event happened, like everybody just stopped caring because everyone hates that guy anyway because of Brexit. So once he had to do a speech in the Rose Garden at Downing Street. He sat at a table for like 45 minutes and just lied and lied and lied. And like reporters were calling him on it and he's just flat out ignoring them. Wow. And then it was another shit show. But after that, nobody took the restrictions seriously. And now we've got massive like spikes and like the city of Liverpool is currently suing the government because the government wants to shut down the whole city of Liverpool, and Liverpool council is like, no.
Yeah,
and
I see it's really bad over there, Spooky. Like they're saying like another second or a third wave or whatever they talk about.
Right. It is
Um,
scary. It's a little,
Yeah.
It seems like
but at
there
the same
seems like a
time, I
big
have to think
resurgence
like,
in a lot of states in the United States, and I'm watching my state pretty carefully. It's still on the way down, but
right.
that could change anytime. And all of this is scary. And you know what? I just want to thank all of you for being a part of this tonight, because as far apart as we all are, we're all going through similar things, and it makes me feel a little better to know it's not just my crazy country doing all this crazy shit. It's the whole world is going a little nuts.
Yep.
Yeah.
Isn't that? But you know what? The triggers for the lockdowns. Okay, we have to go back to this stage. Oops, here are more cases. I don't see as much transparency these days about the reporting of who and where and why and how. I want to know more. Where is this alarming news coming from? Where are the stats? I don't see any stats lately.
Yeah.
And but we've been conditioned. At the beginning, they had lots of stats, lots of numbers, and they kept fluctuating. Kept us off balance. News changed. What was true wasn't, and then there was more truth, and then we didn't mean that.
You don't need a mask. You need a mask. It's crazy.
I like how they basically, in our country, they basically admitted that they lied to everybody that masks aren't effective because they didn't want people hoarding them so that the frontline workers would have enough to deal with the hospitalizations.
Exactly.
So they basically admitted, well, we didn't want to cause a panic, but yeah, you probably should wear a mask. And that's another funny thing. I don't know about every other country, but here there is like this back and forth between fuck masks and masks don't work, and people refusing to wear masks and making videos saying, no, fuck you, I don't have to wear a mask in here. And for me, I go, it can't hurt, right? It can't hurt.
Yeah, I don't have a problem if I have to wear a mask.
I don't have a problem with it, but it's funny that there's this huge debate just over wearing a mask. Some people are just had enough. They're tired of being told what to do. But then you can't go in a store and shop without it. So
there are big signs.
I just wear it.
Yeah, big signs. I do out my front door like 3 times now. When I've gone out, I've forgotten my mask. I can't.
Yeah, that's terrible. I had to drive home once. I had to pick up this. I bought another wood stove for the cabin, a wood cook stove, and I could tell that they were like older people, and I didn't want to make them nervous, so I put on a mask just going to get the thing, because you don't know, like
you don't know.
Yeah.
But I was already committed to going into the store one of the times, 3 times, same store, going in there, and I was wearing a hoodie, so as soon as I went to grab the handle of the door, I went, oh, fuck, I don't have my mask. Because when I grab for the door, that's when I pull it up and crimp it around my nose. And so I just walked in with my hoodie pulled up over my face to my eyes and went and got, my bottle of wine. Okay, I bought a bottle of wine. And
I think that I have to watch myself because my drinking just went like doubled since this thing started. Because it's it's self-medicating, I guess. Well,
no shit.
My mate works in the beverage industry, and he's classed as an essential worker. So,
same here. I was.
Yeah, and I remember when the lockdowns first got announced. I hate this, but my biggest concern was like, holy shit. They're shutting down the beer stores too, but I was wrong. They weren't shutting down because where I live, you can only.
They're essential workers.
They did shut down the steak stores, though. So you couldn't get liquor, but you could go to the beer store. We have 2. For some reason, there's in my state, you can't sell beer and liquor because the state runs the liquor business. Like criminals, So they, they shut the state stores down, but the beer stores were allowed to be open. I'm not a big liquor guy, but I was sure happy. Like, okay, at least I can get beer.
Yeah, beer would do it for me if that's all that was out there.
The weed stores here were considered essential.
The weed stores,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, the medical,
Yeah,
we have medical in my state, and I do have a card, so that was considered essential here as well. It's medicine, you know.
yeah, that's how we began here in Southern California. Now you can just go out and buy for recreational.
I had medical in 12, and then it became legal in 13, 14.
You can get medical here, but you can get prescription, but it's very hard. There's only a couple of doctors that are doing it at the moment, and I'm
Really, I'll
struggling
bet
to
they're
try and get on.
making big money. I bet they make Mercedes payments easily. Now they probably write a check. I'll bet they charge a lot of money.
Well,
Yeah,
the
it's
West
a racket.
Australian government's trying to get, they're trying to push so that you can get it without a prescription over the counter for like 30 days supply from the chemist, because there's not enough chemists that are actually, or pharmacies that are actually supplying it. So even though you can get a script, it's really hard to get the actual stuff from someone. So if they're trying to make it so that it's just easier, because it's such a big
Right.
business and they want to make the money out of it, but the red tape is what's holding it back at the moment.
Massive
Right.
red tape. Like if you get caught here in South Australia with it in your blood while you're driving, I think you lose your license for like 6 months and this, that, and the other.
For
And then
frack's
there's a big-
sake.
yeah, there's a big can you imagine what they're worried about is if they make it legal, then there's all these insurance implications, and they've gone so
Oh,
hardcore on drug
that's-
stance. Like, yeah, it's just opening it up for, because it's a gateway drug. You know, it opens up for all the other
bullshit.
drug users. I know.
Oh, you know what? Alcohol is the gateway drug.
Tobacco.
Grass.
I've-
You know what? Okay, wait. Let me make my point here really quick.
Yeah, go on,
Shut
go.
up for a while. Sorry, but anybody who smokes the wild cabbage are the most careful drivers on the
Hell yeah,
freaking
you go into slow
road.
mode.
I don't know about that. I don't know.
Oh,
Me, I can't. I
wow.
don't drive. I never drive. If I
Oh,
have
okay.
it.
Can I-
So, but
can I
if
make-
you
I used to
did,
drive
you
all
would
the
be
time. I can't
extra
do it now.
fucking careful. What,
I want
honey?
to make a point about the gateway thing. When I was 15, 16, like I first started smoking weed, and I realized why people think it's a gateway drug. Because when you first start getting weed, you go and get it off someone's bigger brother or some mate or someone, and you learn
Yeah.
about the black market. And then you do that, they've got, oh, how about you try a bit of this acid, or how about you try a bit of this
It's the
speed, or how about you try a bit of this,
Yeah.
because you're getting it from the same people from a black market that are selling the same things. If you take it out of a
Exactly.
black market and put it into a safe zone, it's not going to be putting kids
Hell
around, that
yes.
sort of thing.
Exactly, Dad.
Yeah, that's why it was labeled as such. But for just the simple folk, nah, grass is not the gateway drug. It's alcohol does way more damage.
Oh, I
Way
believe
more
that.
damage.
You know what I always say when people don't want marijuana legalized? I say, have you ever heard of somebody smoking a bunch of weed and beating the shit out of somebody?
Yes,
Right?
exactly.
But
Exactly.
listen, liquor and drinking causes a lot of violence, and I just don't
Yeah.
see it. I've never known a violent pothead in my life.
No,
Five
people.
guys drinking, start a riot. 5 guys stoned, start a band.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Dude, exactly. It's the vegetable of love. It's where the Native Americans, bless them. I got my kids have Native American blood. There's a reason they call it fire water, because it makes you fucking nuts. But they smoked what they took the peyote stuff. They did hallucinogens and stuff. They were fucking mellow, insightful. They were shamans. But throw a firewater guy into that mix and they'll drive him out of the village.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
take alcohol,
Okay, I'm
I'm not
done.
positive on this, but alcohol means in Arabic, spirit that consumes from within.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
great. That's not
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And alcohol
Spirits.
passes the blood-brain barrier and immediately can change your thought patterns and your neurotransmitter shit. So yeah, grass doesn't do that. Grass gets to all your feel-good places.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
I'm
it
done.
helps with pain, which is the main thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Burton.
Yeah. So we'll take some more.
Anyway,
Lee Beltman
it's
says
like-
those.
I think
Those Greys love the blue meth, I've heard. I think he's talking about gray aliens.
They like the alien corpse dust.
Here in the UK, they have beer and liquor just like in the supermarket.
Yeah.
Cosmic cocaine.
Like it's everywhere.
Yeah,
Here's the weird thing. Everyone in the country has to wear a mask anytime they go in a shop or establishment, but the people working there don't have to. In the supermarkets, they just wear like the plastic face coverings,
Johnny's
like
got his
the
mask on.
see-through ones without a mask, and I'm like, what?
That's me at work every
That
day.
doesn't make any sense.
See
No,
people?
no, it doesn't make any sense.
Nobody. Oh, there's some people. Nobody. Oh, there's some more people. Nobody.
Right.
All that.
Yeah,
I
I did
think
that
we're
on a hiking
thankful for
trail
those
around
people
here because you don't know. Like, there's a state park and there's a big hiking trail and it's really beautiful, and a lot of people will walk the trail. Well, not a lot of people. Once in a while, I see somebody. Most of the time, I don't. But I have a mask with me just in case, because I don't want them to feel nervous walking by me. I don't want to be like, I got to go off in the woods and stay 20 feet from them while they walk by or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the masks are an interesting issue. I don't know. You know, like I have a niece that's a nurse who told me, like, don't believe what they tell you. A mask is effective and can really help if everybody does it.
Okay, Stephen, your niece, the nurse, did she notice an uptick in the profession in which she works?
Well, she works in pediatric nursing, so I don't think she's seen much effect, but she did get COVID because her mother works for the prison department. This is like the perfect storm for getting it. Her mother works for the prison department, and her father works for the transportation, the bus company in Philadelphia, SEPTA. And she works at a hospital. So like their whole family got it. But luckily they all had an easy time with it and they had mild symptoms and got over it. All three of them were in high risk professions to contract it, right?
Boy, even more than mine. And you know, I worked in a medical office. But everyone, okay, this is really controversial, you guys. This is only my experience. And it's not to be anybody else's story, but of all of the healthcare practitioners, nurses, ER people, EMTs, all of those guys, because I log in reports and patient stuff, this was no different than any other flu season. Okay, that was only my experience. But okay, the difference was there was a great fear surrounding it. Great fear, high tension, alertness. People, medical personnel were doing drills in preparation for, you know, the Holocaust. I use that word loosely, sorry, but in my experience, it was no different from any other flu season outside of the controversy and the fear. Okay, you can edit this out later.
No, I think it's okay. That's your opinion, and that's
this was my experience.
I've heard a lot of people say something like that, and then I've heard people that live in New York City that are medical professionals say something entirely different. Like it was a mess there. You know, they had almost full capacity in the ICUs a bunch of times and were scared that they weren't going to have beds for people. And, you know,
really?
So yeah, I guess it depends on where you're at. Like,
well,
some states have been harder hit, right?
Well, I'm talking about Los Angeles.
Oh, okay. That's a big city. Yeah.
It's kind of a big city. And so I'm not going to say any more about it. Damn, boy, I have a big fucking mouth.
No, it's quite all right. Yeah, so if anybody else would like to join in the stream, you just send me a message on Facebook. It's Stephen Cambion, or on Twitter, it's @StephenCambion, or you could email me at truthseekershow@gmail.com. And we start our discussion talking about the recent censorship and the Twitter or the YouTube purge of all these popular YouTube channels that are on fringe topics, and got into the weeds with the COVID mess. But I'm hopeful. I want to think. What does everybody think about the coming year that's coming? Are you hopeful? Are you feeling like it's going to get worse? How does everybody feel? Like, what's everybody's general state of mind about the way things have been going and where we're coming to from here? You're going to
I
start
think
with
the election will have a big role in
Hell
what
yeah.
happens next.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I have a little bit of anxiety, so I've been stocking up on stuff here at the cabin, because if there's a lot of violence in the city, it's going to spill right over into the suburbs where my family is. But I doubt it will get this
Buy a
far.
battle axe. Buy a battle axe, Steven. You need a battle axe.
Well, it's funny. I have a ninja sword and a hunting bow and some other weapons here, but I don't have a battle axe. But I would like one, because that's cool.
Yeah, you should also have a taser.
Yeah, I do have it. I do have
Oh,
one.
sorry.
Well, I have a stun gun.
Of course you do. Oh shit! Of course you do.
Yeah, it looks bad. It's like a stun gun with some rope and duct tape. That doesn't look good.
Well, you should mount it above the fireplace.
Yeah, that's funny.
So I don't know if
I
you've
think-
covered this yet, Stephen, but have you done a show on the phenomenon?
No, I haven't, and here's why. I tried to watch it, and I only got about halfway through, and I went, "There's really nothing new here." It seemed to me to be.
The last half was better than the first half.
Yeah. Oh, really? All right. Well, I'm going to finish it. I just haven't had time, and then I was going to do a review of it. But the first half, I kind of fell asleep on, because it was like, there's nothing new here. It's just repackaged stuff we've already heard. But then again,
It's not for us, I think.
Yeah, it's not for us. It's for the normies, I would guess, right?
It does
That's
build
the
up
impression
to
I
a
got.
the last like quarter, I would say, is like, I didn't know about that stuff, and it is like new interviews and stuff and follow up. So it's like, oh, okay. So without ruining it, it's good, I would say.
Yeah, I'm going to
Go
finish
back and finish
a
it.
review and talk about that then, because I noticed that a lot of people are saying good things about it. So I tried, but I just didn't get through it. I kind of put it on and fell asleep after a while. I'm going to try
It's a
again.
slow beginning. I agree with you there. It was. I would have maybe made it a little bit more upbeat, but in terms of the information, like, it ended in a place where I was kind of like, whoa, kind of thing. So I just my elbow fell off my chair. That really hurt.
So we were talking about what everybody thinks about the future holds and how everybody feels. How about you, BGs?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of fear mongering going on. Even in Australia, we get a lot of that. The markets change when Donald Trump opens his mouth, and then the share market crashes, and this, that, and the other. And I don't know, but I think the election's going to be massive. I feel like I'm apprehensive for all of you guys, because, he said he's not going to give up power if it's like a close thing, and I don't even know how that happens. But
What happened?
Here's the thing, though. If
If
it's true that Trump was spied on by the Obama administration, and that's not a peaceful transfer of power either.
yeah,
So,
Yeah.
does he have to play by the same rules? I mean, he should, but like, in his mind, he's thinking, well, they did that to me, so why should I follow the rules?
I didn't see any transfer of power.
yeah, but you know what the scary thing is like, there could be a big nightmare happen, because what we've never had that happen, but what the sitting president, even after the election, like, let's say he loses, right? And by, let's say, November 5th, we know that he definitely lost and Joe Biden's supposed to take over, but he's still in charge until January. And if he's in charge of the military, he's in charge of the whole country. If he just decided, I'm not handing over power, I'm not going to move out of the White House, fuck you. And the military is largely behind Trump, I think, more than Biden. What could happen? It could lead to some really constitutional nightmare.
I think Trump is really eager to get back to playing golf at Mar-a-Lago.
Maybe.
But he wants to go out like the final flame he burns against the night. He wants to go out with a bang. I'm sure he's making plans for the future, or his yes men are helping him make plans for the future.
Vanessa Thor says that apparently he said in the last town hall that he would transfer peaceful. I didn't see that, so yeah.
Okay.
So maybe he's lightened his tone on that. But he does seem to be setting up for, like, If he does lose,
His
I think
future.
his ego can't take it if he really loses. So he's going to blame. I think if he loses, he's going to blame voter fraud or Democrat dirty tricks or something. He's not going to be able to take the loss like that.
Oh, he'll rattle his bones and or his saber, and he'll set it aflame. But he's definitely making plans for his future, and it's going to be a life of luxury. He made his mark on the world, and he's gonna sit on his big orange fat ass and get up and play golf.
Yeah, maybe it's retirement time because that's most presidents. If they did have a private life, most of them have been lifelong politicians, but they retire. They retire when they're done the presidency because, what else are you going to do? You had the
dude, he had this glorious life being Donald Trump.
Dan Hogan is back.
President.
Howdy,
Dan Hogan.
Dan Hogan.
Sorry about that.
Sorry, I'm on a roll here. But anyway, Donald Trump had this whole history and background, and the playboy, the bad boy, the spoiled boy, before he became president. So he has a life to go back to. He is not a lifelong politician. This guy is real different, just like Ronald Reagan was. But he's going to land on his feet, that bastard.
I gotta go, guys. My dad's just rocked up, so
okay. Well,
take my
See
you. Love you, that avatar.
Oh,
thanks,
BG.
Good to see you again, B.
Thanks, guys.
See you, Deb.
Catch us later.
good to see you.
Good to
Bye.
see you, honey bunch. Bye.
Love you all. Bye.
Love yous.
There we go. Yeah, so if anybody else would like to join in, just let me know in a message, either Twitter, Facebook, or the email truthseekershow@gmail.com. We're coming up on an hour and 40 minutes, so maybe we'll go just a few, just a little bit longer. We got to kind of cut it before the 2-hour mark, or YouTube always has problems with the stream getting there. It will take 2 days or something. It's weird.
It takes a long time for the chat. If there's a chat, it takes a long time for the chat to show up.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Dan,
I haven't seen any issues with other channels with that. So my work did a 2.5 hour stream last night, and that was up right away.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it has to do with sub counts or that I was a new channel. The last time I tried to go over 2 hours, it took I think I waited 3 days and it still wasn't there. It didn't make it to the channel. The link was live, but it didn't make it to the channel. So I had to download it and re-upload it.
Oh, my show is always like an hour. Well, sort of around an hour. And it takes an entire day to get totally uploaded. But the chat will sometimes take more than 2 days to show up.
Yeah, I guess they prioritize things. I don't blame them because imagine, there's like thousands of hours of YouTube content uploaded every day, and they have to process it all. That's a computer science nightmare. Trust me. I don't even know how they do that. I know they
the little bastards. They should have planned ahead for this. They should have planned ahead for this load.
Well, it's free service. You kind of can't blame them.
No, I blame them. Sorry.
Yeah, if all else fails, blame YouTube. I'm kind of happy that I have StreamYard, though, because when the stream looks really shitty, I just blame them. It's not my terrible webcam. It's not my shitty $20 webcam. No, fuck StreamYard, fuck the stream up. But it really did look terrible from the cabin. I'm glad tonight it looks like...
It looks really decent.
It does look pretty good, yeah.
Yeah, isn't it nice?
And that's just adding a light, like a dummy. I had to put one more like a lamp in here.
Well, I wouldn't change a thing. This is great.
Yeah.
You got that Corey Good background.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I got my own secret spaceship over there. That's not a background. That's my secret spaceship.
Yeah.
Is that where David Wilcox was broadcasting from that day?
Maybe. I don't know.
You think I want to be in front of this camera? With a mustache, he'd be more believable too.
I wonder if it could be a handlebar, right? Like then I could do this all the time.
That's a Tom Selleck mustache.
Oh, that's a porn stash, Spooky. I look like retarded with facial hair. My wife won't even let me. You know what she said? She said, "If you stop shaving, I'm going to stop shaving too." And I went, what do you mean? She went, my legs, my pink parts, everything. I'm not shaving nothing.
So it's not that she won't let you. It's just that you don't want to go there, Steve.
Yeah, no, man. Nobody wants Sasquatch in bed, right? So, yeah,
dear,
I can't have, and I look like an asshole, too. It grows in all patchy, like I'm 14 and can't grow a beard, you know? So I have beard envy and look, Dan Hogan's got that. I would like that like goatee looking kind of thing.
Well, you know, it's getting pretty gray. I don't know.
And Genocide and UFO Gandalf got the big manly.
I was gonna say you guys got the real deal going on.
Yeah, that's manly, man. That's wearing your hormones on the outside. These guys are wearing their hormones on the outside of their face. I guess I don't have enough to do that.
It's almost like leaving your fly unzipped. Boy, Dex and John, you guys have these glorious facial hairs. You know, I salute you, you know, for your testosterone and shit.
and shit.
Yeah.
And shit.
Hey, Stephen, are you a New York Times bestselling author with Cal Corfia? What's going on with that?
Oh, I don't know. I think last time I talked to Cal, he said the book was selling well, but you know, I'm not gonna buy 8,000 copies like some people and stack them up in my garage so that I could get to the top of the list.
Oh yeah, and then when you get down to the last several dozen, it becomes pathetic. Yeah, you don't want to do that.
No, I still, you know what's funny is I still have boxes and boxes of CDs from my rock bands in the shed over here. Like when I moved, I just put them in there. I didn't know what else to do with them. So someday I'm going to drag them out of the shed and they're going to be prizes or something.
You can send us all.
Shit,
my rock band CDs.
Well, you know what?
Stack them up, and when the tour ends, however many is left in that van, you're going to have for a while.
Stephen, I think you should break out one of those boxes from storage and send one to each one of your guests here tonight.
Yeah, I could do that.
Or even your Patreon worms.
Yeah. Well, at the very least, I'm gonna digitize them and put them on Patreon for everyone.
You know, but also you have those relics, those vintage things to send out as special thanks to perhaps your panels.
You do that. So I can say all right. I learned it by watching you. You send prizes to your guests, right? That's nice.
It's meaningful. So Stephen, if you send them out and then advertise it, and then that will lead to other shit. And they're just sitting there. What else are they doing for you? Send those fuckers out, dude.
Yeah, I just want to mention too, like we got a donation from somebody that I didn't know who they were because they didn't give their live chat ID, and I don't want to shout out their real name. So that was Andrew, or I just gave his first name. AS, initials AS. God, I'm terrible at this. Gave a kind $15 donation, and then,
how lovely.
And then Genocide gave a kind $5 donation. So I want to thank both of them. There's donate button and Patreon. This month on Patreon, I keep saying the final Mind Hack demo, and then it's not the final one because we think of more stuff to put in this course. But if you're on Patreon, you get all that stuff in pieces before it's finished and should be for sale soon to go along with, and then Dan Hogan, you're thank you for reminding me to mention the book, because I guess if it's on Amazon with my name on it, I should mention it on every show or promote it, talk about
always have a link.
Tell the worms need to buy the book.
Yeah.
So I'm out. We'll be listening, but I've got to leave the forum.
All right, and Genocide, thanks for the kind donation. We appreciate it immensely. Thank you, and thanks for being here. It's good to meet you in virtual world.
See you, Johnny.
See you, John.
Have a good night.
I got to go too. I got to shoot off too. I'll be listening.
Okay, yeah, we're going.
Bye, Genocide. Oh fuck, I miss Genocide. Goodbye, Genocide.
All right, well, thanks you, Phil Gandalf.
I
appreciate your participation tonight. It was kind of an experiment. Thank you.
No. Thank you for having us on, and I'll definitely come back again and jump on another time when we do this. It's always good to have a roundtable discussion, guys. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it's been a hoot. It's been okay. Bye.
No, it's all right, Rob. Good to see you again, Robin. All right, see you guys.
Peace. Have a good night. Okay, and KB is here in the live chat and asks, what's the temp at the cabin, Stephen? Did it snow yet? It's about 35 outside.
Hasn't snowed yet. If you see me reaching over here, I'm like throwing wood into the wood stove, trying to just trying to get it kindled up and keep it going. And then when the stream ends, I'll pack it up. But it's like 75 in the cabin. This wood stove does a great job. So I'm warm and cozy in my happy place with some friends tonight, which is fun. So thank you guys for doing it.
Oh boy, thanks for having us. This is
whoa. And Vanessa Thor says it's so hot here, 89. Jeez, it's 35 outside.
Really? Okay, I don't know what it is here. But you live up in the glorious place you live, honey.
Yeah, KB, how was the first wood stove pizza? Yeah, that was great. I've been eating way too much pizza. I'm going to get fat. I'm eating so much pizza. And Dan Hogan wants me to deliver.
I've been eating pizza this whole time.
Yeah, I may eat some pizza later. Yeah. So
cool.
we were talking about how everybody feels about the future. I don't think that I got. Oh, Dan Hogan's a little busy. You okay,
Sorry,
Dan?
Steven.
No, it's okay.
Go ahead. Sorry.
So what do you think about, are you feeling hopeful about what's coming next in the future, or are you a little worried about the election and all this craziness and COVID nonsense?
Yeah.
That's a good question. I don't know. I think you had made a comment earlier about, when you were, younger, like a young dad, you were trying to be more optimistic and hopeful for the future. And I guess, having, 3 kids now and 2 stepkids, I try to be optimistic for what's going to happen. But I think it's just, I don't know. I think we're in for a little bit of a rough patch. I mean, there's really no other, there's not really another better way of putting it. I honestly think that's kind of where we're going, because, I truly, and we talked about this a little bit before, I think, but if Trump wins, I think you're going to see a lot of stuff going on in the streets. There's going to be a lot of unrest. And I think, Trump loses, I think you're going to see some unrest too, but maybe not as much, in my opinion, not as much on the Trump side as if Biden were to.
Well, there's no way to call it, because no matter which way it goes, there's no way.
Yeah, somebody's going to be unhappy.
Well, it's like I said earlier, it's a dumpster fire either way. I mean, it really is sad that in this day and age in America, like I said, these are the two best guys you could put, on the table.
Yeah.
These are.
But Donald Trump is kind of a symptom of how politics has been going for the last 30 or 40 years. Robin, you made that comment about Ronald Reagan. He was an actor and he ended up going into politics. But I think when you look at it almost kind of starts like around 9/11, in my opinion, is you saw that where Bush was kind of constantly getting hammered by the Democrats, and then Obama comes in and he gets constantly hammered by Republicans, and it's been getting worse and worse and less civil and less civil. And I think Donald Trump is the cause of 20 years of people not being able to sit at a table together and have civil dialogue without being babies. And that's where we're there now, because we couldn't be adults 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah, I think the only reason that he got elected is because people were so sick, and at least he was an outsider, or so we thought, like he was different. So people believed that he could do all this bullshit, like he's draining the swamp. All those swamp guys are still there, Yeah.
When I think, looking back, sorry, Robin, go ahead.
No, I just wanted to interject, because I love repeating myself, because I'm an old woman, but the fact that we only had those 2 bizarre choices, for the last many elections we're really restricted to our choices. Why can't I choose from more people? Who makes the rules that we only have 2 choices?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm finished.
The party system sucks.
There's nothing that says we can't have more than 2 parties, but they stack the deck against it so much that it's like, I've wanted to vote third party the last 3 cycles. And it's like, I hate to say, you always hear that on the, a third party vote's a wasted vote. And you almost want to think that it's not, because you think in reality, if everybody voted the way that, you talk to like a group of friends and they're all like, oh man, I I really want to vote for this guy, but I can't because he's not going to win. And if everybody voted that way, that guy would fucking win. But that's just not how it goes. So it's like, you know,
they got to play
Trump
the
and
game.
Biden.
Like Trump,
Right.
like I don't think Trump was a real Republican. He was a Democrat his entire life. I think he was shrewd though and said, I can't win as a Democrat, but I can fucking sure win as a Republican.
Yeah, because there are a lot of people who don't even participate in politics, who he had this vast geographic that never had a voice, and he pretended to give them a voice, so he got all of these followers, and that's why you see all the red hats in.
Yeah, wow. Well, listen, folks, we're coming up on 2 hours, so I want to thank you guys all for jumping in here and participating in this first, I guess, roundtable, and maybe we'll do this again because it was fun, and it was an easy show on me, which I like. So thank you all for your help. I don't have to be the only one talking through this whole thing for once.
Sorry about my technical difficulties. My computer decided it was going to do some massive like restart reboot deal.
That's amazing to me that this shit works at all. It's like magic to me sometimes. I'm a tech guy, but I still think it's amazing. We have people from all over the world in this virtual room tonight, and we all had a discussion. So thank you all for joining me. Thanks everybody in the live chat. I got to hurry up and end the stream. So until next time, friends, my name's Stephen Cambion. Good night, and God bless you and your family and all you know. Good night, friends.
See you guys. See you, Robin.
Thanks, guys. All right, we're going to play us out here.